Well, welcome everyone. We're glad you're here with us today. We're going to be covering the Advanced Child Tax Credit, which is a brand new program for 2021. And let me tell you about some of my friends helping me here today. We have Don Lorenzo, who is one of our VITA volunteers. He designed the PowerPoint presentation you're going to be viewing, and he's a great volunteer, and I just thank him for all that he does. And I have Jenna Yarber, who is here with us. She's from CAC, and she will be kind of monitoring the chat window and keeping me on point and elbowing me when I need to go on. So she'll be doing that. I want to welcome those of you that are not with CAC. I know that Val Palmer is here today from the Urban League of Greater Chattanooga. We've got folks here from the Knoxville International Network and Centro Hispano, and a number of the agencies around the community. This is a big program, and I think it's going to be something that will really help our clients. So we're going to record it, and without further ado, we're going to talk about the Advanced Child Tax Credit for 2021. To qualify for the child tax credit, and this is the current law as well as what we have had in the past, the eligible children must qualify as dependents on a tax return. Now, what qualifies someone as a dependent? You've got to be a U.S. citizen, a national, or a resident alien with a social security number. ITINs do not work for claiming this. You must have lived with the parent for more than 6 months, and you must rely the child must rely on the parent for over 50% of their support. It's called the blood kin rule. They expect you to be blood kin, be adopted, have court ordered custody, or we go back to the 6-month rule. If you've been there 6 months and you've provided over 50% of the support, that qualifies as someone who can be claimed as a dependent. Now, here's how it was in 2020, some of the things that we had then. Eligible children for the child tax credit, you had to be less than 17 years old. You could get up to $2,000 in credit, which could be reduced by taxes per qualifying child. Or you could get up to $1,400 called the additional child tax credit, which was potentially refundable. It phased out at these income levels. $200,000 for single or head of household and $400,000 for married filing jointly. So as you can see, viewing this, most of our clients are going to be in good shape on this. The American Rescue Plan is temporarily changing the child tax credit for 2021. The hope is that this will raise 23 million children out of poverty, and this law was passed in March of this year, which is what generated the stimulus check that most of our clients and most of us got as well. Now, here are the differences. Eligible children are less than 18 years of age as of December 30th, 2021. If you remember from the previous slide, they had to be less than 17. So now it's less than 18 years old. Now the credit is different. $3,600 for eligible children less than 6 years old as of December 30th, 2021, or $3,000 for eligible children less than 18 years of age on December 30th, 2021. Like the current child tax credits, the increased amounts are not taxable. Now, this is very important. It does not affect SNAP, does not affect income-based rent assistance, does not affect LIHEAP, and it doesn't affect taxable portions of Social Security payments. So this child tax credit doesn't do anything to benefits for our clients. This is something they get over the top of that, which, you know, that's been a concern with a number of clients about whether or not it would affect their benefit amounts. It does not. Here's some examples. A family with 3 children, ages 5, 13, and 18. Here's the amounts that they will get on a monthly basis starting on the 15th of July. For the 5-year-old, the total for the 6-month period would be $3,600. For the 13-year-old, it would be $3,000. And for the 18-year-old, it would be $0, because the 18-year-old is not eligible. So the total credit in 2021 for the 2 children that are eligible is $6,600. $3,300 of that is refundable in advance payments during 2021, and up to $3,300 is refundable on the 2021 tax return. So let me go over that with you just a second so that you understand. Starting on July the 15th, these payments will be like this. $3,300 will be broken down in 6 payments. There'll be equal payments that will go to the parents of the child. So I hope that's understandable. Then when they, and that would be $3,300 for the 2 children in the example. Then when they file their tax return for 2021, which would be somewhere January, February, March, and I hope all of you would say, go to the VITA site at LT Ross for your clients. They get their taxes done for free. They would get the other half in a lump sum payment of $3,300. So it would be a total payment, counting the 6 months in advance and then the 2021 tax return, $6,600. Now, the credit is fully refundable regardless of taxes owed, and there's no minimum earning requirements. Many of our clients have not been filing tax returns because they didn't have any income. So it wasn't doing, they weren't getting, you know, earned income tax credit or anything like that. Well, they can have 0 income and still qualify for the advanced child tax credit. So here's an example of how this worked in 2020 taxes and before. It was you had a $600 non-refundable credit, let's say. Let's say that you owed $200 in taxes. The credit of $600 would wipe out the tax, but you would not get the $400 it was left over because the credit for the child tax credit was non-refundable in 2020. So in 2021, that's different. The example here is, let's say you had the $600 refundable credit. Let's say you owe $200 in taxes. The credit would wipe out the tax debt, and then you would get $400. I hope that makes sense. So you would get the remainder after the tax debt was wiped out. This is another major issue for our clients, and I'm going to go over this with you pretty in depth because there's some important pieces of this. The child tax credit that starts in July will not be reduced by student loan debt. It won't be reduced by tax debt. It won't be reduced by tax debt to Tennessee or other states or the IRS. It won't be reduced by child support debt or any other government debt. Now, nothing in the law prevents private debt collectors from attaching part of this, but this would have to be something that they would do as it was deposited. And I've looked at this. I've had some other people look at this. I've talked to the IRS about this. No one can see how any private debt collector would get any of this because they would not know what clients were getting child tax credit and what clients were not. So basically, this money is going to come to them and won't be attached by anything. So that's kind of how that works. Now, here is an important piece right here that just came out this morning, and we don't have this on a slide. Some people are going to want to use the IRS like a bank and have and waive the advanced child tax credit monthly payments, because you do have the option to waive the monthly payments and get one lump sum when they file their tax return for 2021. That is a really, really bad idea. And there are two reasons why that's a bad idea. Reason number one is you need the money now, and we've got to get people not to use the IRS as a bank because it's interest-free money, and we don't want that to happen. But the even worse reason is because all of these things that I just said do not affect the monthly payments, affect the payments if you get them in a lump sum as a tax return. So if someone owed $10,000 in student loan debt and they waited and got a lump sum payment, all of that payment could potentially be taken to go against the student loan debt, where if they took it on the monthly basis, they would at least get half of what they were due in their pocket to help with the child. I hope that makes sense. So if you have clients that ask, do everything possible to help them understand lump sum payments on this are not a good way to go. We do not know at this point if this program will be carried over after this 6-month time period. The 6 months starting in July is a one-time only thing according to current law. There is sentiment on both sides of the aisle to make this a permanent law, but we won't know that till later on, and I'll make sure you find out as soon as I find out about that. But right now, it's 6 months starting in July. How will they get paid? This was an issue on the first stimulus payment and stimulus payments afterwards. They'll get paid through electronic deposits. That's if the IRS has bank account numbers and routing numbers on file. They'll get paid by checks, and they'll get paid via debit cards. There is no answer to who gets a check and who gets a debit card. But when the first stimulus came out, many people got the checks and got the debit cards and thought someone was trying to open up a credit card in their account, or that the checks were some type of you cash it and it becomes a loan, so they shredded them or threw them away. And the IRS then had to reissue. Now, here's the timing for the child tax credit. The first payment would be on July the 15th. If you have a child under 6, that child would be $300. If you have a child from 6 to 17, that child gets $250. And look at the difference in the money from what the old program was at $167 versus the new program at the very least being $250. And you'll see how much money that adds up to as the screen shows the other dates that all this comes.
Sorry. Oops.
So you see August, September, it's all on the 15th, and you see what the total advance payments would be, and then you would get another payment on the 2021 tax return, and you see the totals down through there. Again, this is, you can look at that. See, for the child that's under 6, $3,600 total. The child that's 6 to 17, $3,000. If you had a child under 6 and a child that was 6 to 17, you would get a total of $6,600. And there's no limit on how many kids this applies to in a household. And you look at the difference there. It was $2,000 under the old way. So here are the immediate things we want to try to work with our clients to do. They need to have a bank account. That's the best possible way to have the money deposited is through electronic deposits. We need to encourage clients to file a 2020 tax return. Now, let me talk to you about tax returns for a second. Many of the clients, again, have not been filing taxes for years. They may be getting disability, they may be on Social Security, but the IRS doesn't know that these clients have children because they've not filed a tax return and the children don't show up on the tax return. And unfortunately, here's what we're finding with people who came in to file to get their stimulus and they had a dependent. They're finding out that someone has been claiming that dependent for years fraudulently. And in most cases, it's a parent who no longer has custody or who has disappeared or something like that. So we can fix that, but that is a long, drawn out process. That's why it's important to file a tax return. So we want to encourage clients to file 2020 tax returns and then reassure clients that everything should happen automatically if they filed a 2019 or a 2020 tax return and claimed child tax credit. Again, if they filed returns or didn't file returns and didn't claim the child, the IRS does not know that child exists with that client. Now,
Terry, you might add with the grandparents also who end up with children's another would fall in that category. Maybe they were not filing 20 tax returns because of Social Security, and now they can get the credit.
Yes, good point, Don. Thank you. Now, here's another thing that's happening, and you need to know this. The IRS has started sending letters to more than 36 million American families who, based on tax returns, might be eligible to receive the monthly child tax credit. Now, here's the thing to realize here. If people were fraudulently claiming these children, they're going to get the letter telling them this is coming. That's important. Now, families who are eligible for the child tax credit are going to receive a second personalized letter with an estimate of the monthly payment. And that's based on what was on the tax returns that they've been filing. So we're going to talk about what's going on with the IRS right now. We want to encourage clients to visit the IRS website. They're going to have a portal, maybe two portals, active by July the 1st. And here's what these portals do. You can verify all your personal information is correct, even if they get a letter. They can update their information if the letter is incorrect. They can enroll if they have not received a letter or not been filing taxes. They can update payment instructions. This is all very important because our clients will change bank accounts. And if the IRS sends the money to a bank account that's closed, it bounces back to them. Sometimes they'll try to send a check to the last address. Sometimes they won't. IRS checks are not forwardable, so they will not be forwarded to the client. So then the client has to start working with the IRS to get the money. I will be very honest with you. The IRS service rate right now on the telephone calls is 2%. So the odds of getting through to the IRS is not good. That's just the fact of the situation right now. So we want to encourage clients to file the 2021 tax returns next year because they don't get the other half of the child tax credit if they don't file. And if this program becomes permanent, filing the tax return will affect what happens to them in 2022 with child tax credit if the program goes on. The IRS is going to open up 2 portals. Both of the portals are supposed to be active by July the 1st. We are hoping the portals will open sooner than that, but they have told us by July the 1st. The first portal is called a registration portal. That's for those people that did not file a 2019 or a 2020 tax return, and they have no taxable income, or they have no requirement to file. They can go into that portal and register. And they would be registering, of course, themselves as the guardian and the children as the dependents. We do not know yet what information is going to be required to register the child. I can guess that they're going to have to be Social Security numbers. There's going to have to be some type of ID. I know those things will be required. I don't know what else. They'll tell us when they tell us. I was on a call yesterday with the IRS, and all these questions were asked, and nobody had any answers. So here's what I can see happening when they go to register on the registration portal. They go and register the child. One of a couple of things will happen. Thing number one will be they've got to have an email address. So you got to make sure they have an email address. They'll get an email that says you are registered for the advanced child tax credit with the Internal Revenue Service. Everything's great. Or they're going to get something that says they can't register because someone is claiming that child as a dependent. That's where the second portal comes in, and that's called a change of circumstance portal. Now, you can change bank accounts, you can change addresses, and you can add children, birth, adoption, custody, all kinds of things like that. So if a person hits that message in the registration portal that that child is being claimed by somebody else, they can then go to the change of circumstance portal and change that child to we just got them, so to speak, so that they become eligible for the child tax credit. How that's going to flow, I don't know. I wish I could tell you. They could also increase their income in case they get close to the phase-out numbers, but I don't think that's going to happen with very many, if any, of our clients. And they could actually opt out of the advance payments. I will tell you that once we know what's going on with the portals, I will have volunteers here at CAC, and we will make appointments to help people get registered or do change of circumstances through the portals. We'll use our tax computers to get them in. And again, I will let you know as soon as that happens. I should know the day the portals open, and it'll probably take me a day or so to get our volunteers up to speed. And we will actually try to do either an addition to this video or another training session with screenshots of all those portals screens so that we can help you help clients if for some reason they don't want to come up here. But we're going to be available to help clients get registered. If you need help, please call me. I'm the financial literacy manager here at CAC, as well as the VITA coordinator. You've got my email address and you've got my phone number. I promise you that I will call you back or I will email you back. So we want to help you help your clients. Now, here's something to remember too about the income. If the portals open on the 15th and we put someone in there on the 15th, I have grave doubts that the IRS is going to get them processed by the 15th so that they're going to get their first check or their first direct deposit. So it could be that they don't get anything until August, but they will get the full amount that they're due over the course of the 6 months. That question was asked again on a call yesterday, and they weren't sure if they missed a payment, if it would be divided into 5 payments or 4 payments, or if it would be paid in a lump sum with another payment, they didn't know. But they assured us that everybody would get the total amount. And at a hearing recently up on Capitol Hill with the head of the IRS, he said some people will get their payments on schedule July 15th. Some won't get them until August 15th. And some will not get their first payment until September the 15th. He said it's just because of this new thing we're doing and trying to get it up and running. So assure clients that if everything went okay with them on getting stimulus checks and they filed their tax returns, they should be okay. Here's some frequently asked questions we've had so far. What income levels qualify to fully receive the advanced child tax credit? Single parents, not more than $75,000. Head of household, not more than an adjusted gross income of $112,000. Married couples filing jointly, not more AGI than $150,000. And then you can see the levels where they will not receive child tax credit, the advanced credit. Single parents over $200,000, head of household more than $200,000, and married couples more than $400,000. If you have a child born after 1/1/2021, that is where you would use the IRS change of circumstance portal. And again, if the checks don't start in July, they can be added and the IRS will do catch-up payments. And we would be willing to help if there were circumstances involved there that possibly caused someone not to get it. For example, someone else was claiming the child as a dependent. I will tell you that I have averaged one client a day that I'm having to help with the IRS where someone else is claiming the children. That's particularly taking place with grandparents that are raising grandchildren, and the parents that no longer have custody are claiming those children. That's one of the particular issues that happen there. If you have questions, please feel free to put them into the chat box and we will do our very best to answer them. As we see questions, Jenna will read those out and I will do my best to answer. Well, we have a lot here today. Thanks, folks. I hope this was good. I hope it was informative.
Terry, there was a question in chat about parents rotating who claim children every year. You might want to address.
Okay, what you would want to do on the parents rotating situation is that would be a change of circumstance. For example, someone claimed the child in 2020, but they're not supposed to claim the child in 2021. To get that money going where it's supposed to go, that would be using the change of circumstance portal to get that child to the right parent for 2021. And if the law became permanent, then that person would learn to get in the portal every year for the correct parent to get the money or however they wanted to do that.
Kathy Speck asked a question about the ITIN number. What if the parent has an ITIN number, but most of the children have a social security number, but one does not? Would the parent be able to file and qualify?
They're telling us right now that a parent with an ITIN number will qualify if the child has a social security number. Now, I'm not telling you that can't change, but that's what they're telling us. Now, if you have one child that has an ITIN number, the child will not qualify. They have to have a social.
And if the family does not want to receive the child credit in advance, what happens then?
That's something you can change in the portal. If the family doesn't want the advance credit, they can opt out of the advance credit in the portal. And that would be the change of circumstance portal, I believe. We need to encourage them not to do that. because I can tell you what's coming with the IRS. The IRS does not like people getting these huge refunds because they use the IRS as a bank. So it's coming down the road that's going to stop. So we need to wean our clients off of using the IRS that way and help them to learn to budget better instead of waiting on that great big payment to catch up or whatever they're using it for. Because at some point over the next 4 to 5 years, I expect that to stop and the monthly payment thing to start even with earned income tax credit. That's what they're telling us. So.
And the other point you made earlier was about it's vulnerable to debt collection through the IRS if they postpone it. Well,
yes, because wouldn't it be awful that you're going to get $6,000 to help with your children, and you put it off, and you forgot that you owe $20,000 in student loan debt, or you have a back tax payment, and all of that money then goes to that because you want to get it in a lump sum, where you could have at least gotten half of it in the monthly payments. Any other questions? Folks, I want you to know that I appreciate so much your time. I value that. I know how busy all of you are, and I value your time to come here and spend some time with Dawn, Jenna, and myself as we talk about the child tax credit. We will put this online. I can also send copies of this presentation to you. If you would like a copy of the presentation, instead of me sending it out to every single person that was invited, drop me an email and I will send you a copy of the presentation so that you can have it. This is all about everybody being as educated as they possibly can be so they can help their clients as much as they possibly can. No secrets. I want you to have every piece of knowledge you can have. Are we good? Give me a thumbs up if we're all good. We're all good. Have a great day. And if you need anything, just let me know. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Jenna and Dawn.
welcome.